Tell me your name and spell it for me.
Marta Stephens, Martastephen's.
And your title.
Coordinator, Work Family Programs.
That way we have you on tape saying that, so we don't mess up the spelling and things like
Okay.
that, because we'll put a nameplate over you when you go on the screen. Okay, so just to start with, explain the program. What is this all about?
It's about providing employees and students with information that will help them balance their personal lives and the responsibility to the university. It's providing employees and students with information that will help them balance their personal lives and their commitment to the university. And the primary focus is child care resource and referral, and the EAP, which is the Employee Assistance Program, that allows them to go through free counseling.
So, in effect, I understand what it's designed to do, but what do you do? What happens when people need help?
When they call me, with respect to the daycare issues, when parents call me asking for daycare information, we take down some demographics and we customize their options. So if someone calls in and says, I have a 2-year-old and I live on the west side of town and I need a licensed daycare home or a preschool, that's what they're going to get, and they'll get a minimum of 5 to 6 options. It's the parent's responsibility to screen those providers, even though I do home visits with the home providers, and we do an extensive information session with them during the home visit. It's really still up to the parent to have that final choice and to decide which option is going to be best for their family.
It doesn't seem on the surface to be a hard issue. It seems like a parent could go to the Yellow Pages, start looking at daycare centers or something, or talk to babysitters. Where was the need? How did you get going? And why is it you are so important to?
Well, I think the key to the success of this program is the one-on-one that I do with the counseling I do with parents, and the fact that especially home providers, when they list themselves with a resource and referral, they basically open themselves up. And I think there's a trust that develops between parents and these providers simply because they know that they're listed with a resource and referral and that these things are all documented. Their services are documented. Home providers that are not licensed, that are exempt from licensing, are required to sign a minimum standard agreement. Again, we don't enforce it. We can't go out and regulate these homes, but the parents are aware of these services and aware of the regulations. We give the parents and the providers equal information, so when they meet, they're on the same ground. And they feel more confident in that. The other thing, when employees or students are transferring to Ball State from another community, they probably don't have any idea of what's available, and we're able to send information out across the country to incoming employees and students, and by the time they get to campus, their daycare situation is lined up, which is a tremendous amount of relief for some people.
I would imagine life-saving in some respects.
Yeah.
Career-saving.
It is, and there's been instances of that where people have literally needed daycare information in order to resolve their absentee problems.
Is this the only, you said it's primarily based on providing referrals for daycare. Are there other services that the program provides?
Yeah. Some of the things that are under the dependent care issues, which is the daycare portion of work family, we do an extensive outreach for expectant mothers. We provide them information about the hospital services, prenatal care. In addition to the daycare options, a lot of employees are calling as soon as they find out they're expecting a baby and start the search for daycare. And then when they go through all the leaves of absences that they need, they know when they come back they don't have to worry about daycare, and they can come back to their job and hopefully have a situation that will be very I don't know what the word is, but what do you call it? that they don't have to think about it.
Secure.
Secure. That's a good word. See, I was trying to jot down.
Yeah. The Ball State was one of 29 universities recognized for outstanding achievement in this area.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
The survey was conducted by CUPA, which is a national organization of colleges, universities, and personnel services. And it was sent out to 3,400 universities and colleges nationwide. And out of that number, 375 four-year colleges responded. The survey focused primarily on formal and informal policies that are family-friendly, as well as services. And that's based on primarily the policies that we have here at Ball State, and the work-family programs that are in place has helped us get that recognition. A formal policy that would be family-friendly would be the leaves of absences, such as pregnancy leave, maternity leave, childcare leave, personal leave, funeral leaves. These are all things that an employee can take advantage of to take care of their personal family needs and still be secure to come back to a job.
Is Ball State the only Indiana school recognized for such a program?
Yes. In fact, I don't know that any other university. I think other universities have daycare centers, not necessarily centers, but preschool, lab schools, or some sort of daycare arrangements. But none of them have a full-time work-family program such as this. In fact, I was told by the people that conducted the survey that there are very few universities nationwide that have a program such as this.
And that's why we got the award. So in fact, there are only 29 others that really meet the standards or exceeded the standards and excelled in that area.
Yeah.
So what did that mean to you when you got
it was very exciting. It was very exciting to know that there were a few others out there that were doing similar work, that now I had someone to connect with. But it was an honor to have seen a program from the beginning and to get national recognition.
What's in the future?
Take it day by day. A lot of the services that we develop here are based on requests from parents. Things come up that you may not even think of. And if situation warrants looking into it, then we'll investigate, see if we can develop a program that meets that need, and we'll develop it.
It's open to employees and students alike?
Employees and students only. It's a benefit. It's in our handbooks, employee handbooks. It's in the benefits handbook. I get many referrals from admissions and housing. Departments contact us for incoming faculty and students who need daycare. So we're really busy in the summer getting ready for fall. And we do a lot of work with the orientation groups through human resources.
I would think that as we talked about earlier, it is the difference between being able to go to college and not go to college. It's a difference of being able to maintain a job and not maintain a job.
I've had several students that have called and have basically based their decision to come to Ball State on whether there were daycare options available. I had one student who commuted from Fort Wayne. She needed one Monday night class to complete her studies, and she needed to commute with a nine-month-old baby. And in most instances, I don't step in and contact providers and make those arrangements, but because it was a unique situation, I called providers that I thought would be flexible. And we got her a babysitter, a home provider that was willing to watch the baby one night a week, and the lady was able to come to class.
Wonderful. Capsulize it for me. What makes this program so outstanding?
I think it's the caring to make sure that people get the information they need to make it accurate, to make sure that it's top quality information, that we work not only for employees, but we also work for the home providers. I also list centers and day ministries, and have been instrumental in helping some of those, especially day ministries, get started and guide them to the right people to call to get the information they need in order to be registered. I think it's the one-on-one communication and making people feel valued, making people feel that Ball State cares about them, no matter how they view Ball State, as far as if Ball State is their supervisor or a program. But it's making people feel good about where they're at.
All right, buddy. Kind of cold out today, isn't it? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go see your buddies in here. See if everybody's here.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi. Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Hi. Here he is.
Thank you.
Another good thing about this was that Linda's husband works nights at New Venture, so he's here during the day too. So if she needs, an extra hand, that was nice to know, because, if she were by herself with all those kids, and again, fortunately that hasn't happened since Nicholas has been there, but.
Well, tell me about.
Wait till we turn the corner.
Okay.
I'm shooting right in the sun.
Right in the sun, huh?
Yeah. We'll get the sun on our other side.
Sorry, I go, what happened? Oh, it's the sun.
You're right. We'll wait till we get back on West Jackson there.
Well, this way's okay as well.
Well, he's gonna turn again.
Yeah. No problem.
Now look okay?
Yes,
All
we're
right.
good now. Go ahead.
Tell me about your need and search for daycare.
Okay. Well, as I said before, my wife and I live in Indianapolis, and just prior to Nicholas being born, we had obviously planned on daycare, and had actually lined up a daycare provider in Indianapolis, but just before my wife returned to work, she actually found a new position down in downtown Indianapolis, and so the provider we had simply wasn't going to be convenient for us. So I knew, working in human resources, of the service that Work and Family Programs provided, and consulted Marta Stephens regarding our need for daycare, and told her where I was going to be driving in from, what exactly my needs were as far as Nicholas being a newborn, where there were going to be any providers that would accept newborns, and price obviously was a factor also. And within 15 minutes of the request that I made to Marta, she had lined me up with 4 different providers and given me the phone numbers and the locations, all the details about the providers themselves. And one of those providers was Linda, and after calling Linda, just so happened that she did have an opening, and the price was right, the location was right. My wife and I actually had the opportunity to interview Linda on site and check out the place, and she gave us a detailed rundown of how she operates, and it worked out.
What has this meant to you as a family?
Well, from the family perspective, again, this is our first child, and at that point, I really became almost family-centered, and it was so important for us, knowing that my wife had to return to work, and we had had 2 incomes, that we needed some quality daycare for our son, and it was to find the daycare we needed allowed me to get that off of my mind, and again return and concentrate on my work that I had to provide. So it was very important for us to find that daycare.
This is a special service that not many colleges around the country offer. It's unique to Ball State.
Right. That's my understanding. That's true.
It seems that the employees have a wonderful benefit here that they can take advantage of.
Right. Dependent care services is just one aspect of work and family programs that we have at Ball State. And again, from the dependent care side of it, it's a terrific resource, not only on information, but we can get a lot of details from Marta, and it was very helpful in my case to find that daycare, and it's something that all the employees should really take advantage of when they do have that need.
Crystallize it for me emotionally. What is it? How does it make you feel to have this service available?
I felt terrific when we did find it, and knowing that it was going to be lined up. But Nicholas was going to be close. I was going to be able to visit him when I needed to. He was going to be the communication between the daycare provider and myself was going to be easy. It was going to be something that was going to happen. So if something happened and she needed me, and I could access it right away, that is just a comfortable feeling of very content with the service that's being provided. She shows so much care that even though we can't provide the kind of care that we would on a 24-hour basis because we're not with him, we know and we relax in knowing that he's well cared for, and that allows us to concentrate on the things that we need to concentrate outside the family.
If the referral service, if the work and family program weren't available at Ball State, what would you guys have done?
I hate to think about what we would have had to do, because it is tough to find the quality daycare that we needed at a reasonable cost, and with all the convenience that we've found in this particular provider. The way it worked out for us, we kind of came under crunch time based on my wife's return to work, and it was just great to be able to turn to Marta and the service that she provides through work and family programs to get this lined up. It's been really terrific, and again, I don't know what we would have done without it.
What about these Delaware County roads? I can say something about that.
Yeah. Looking at it. Driving this car, I wouldn't be able to afford the child care. That's right. I don't know how much Marta's told you, but
Okay.
Give me your name and spell it for me.
My name is Debbie Reed, R-E-E-D.
Okay, and your title?
I am the manager of Elliott Dining Services.
Okay. And tell me about the work family program. What do you know about it?
Well, I knew very little about it until I was confronted with an employee that was going to have to quit her job because she did not have any kind of daycare for her young daughter. So we made a few phone calls and found out that Marta Stephens over in Human Resources had a program that was offered, and we made a few phone calls and we were able to assist her.
Yeah, and so it was successful.
Very much so. We were really happy.
So this is a special service that Ball State offers.
Yes, and I didn't know about it myself until we were, doing our research. So we were really glad.
And it made such a difference in
Absolutely.
keeping a good person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, what would you?
Well, I'd hate to say what would happen, but the end result, if you can't show up for work, she would have been terminated, and we didn't want to see that happen by any means.
Yeah.
So
this is a great service for all Ball State employees.
Absolutely.
Not only employees, but students as well.
Right.
So now that you know about it, you would refer other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me about your feelings as keeping Lanette here.
Oh, well, it's great for us. We're not that we're just looking for anybody to work, but she has very high work ethics and is always here, and we just really like her personality and does a nice job for us. So it's very beneficial.
Okay, first thing, give me your name and spell it for me.
Lanette Prince, L-A-N-E-T-T-E, Prince, P-R-I-N-C-E.
And what do you do at Ball State?
I'm a dining service worker here at Elliott Dining Services.
Okay. How long have you been a part of Ball State?
Since August 1st, 96.
Well, tell me about what problems you were facing with daycare.
Well, I had ran out. I didn't have nowhere to take my little girl, and she's 3, and I didn't have the money to pay for one, and so it's like I didn't know what else to do. So I just started flipping through the phone book, and I vaguely remembered in the back of my head that Ball State had one, and so I called the information, and I got the number, and I spoke with the lady there, and she sent me out. She told me she'd send me some information here to Elliott, and that she'll get back with me. And so I got the information, I went through it, and I talked to Deb, my supervisor, and I was telling her that, I spoke with this lady, and she said, oh, I know her. And so she got back with her. And then it's like everything just started rolling, and people start to calling, and luckily I ended up some place for my daughter to be in order for me to stay employed.
And so the service that Ball State provided you was
It was very helpful. It was very helpful. I was on my way out the door. I had nowhere else to turn, and I wasn't telling her my situation. I was just staying at home calling in, and it was like I finally one day when I called, I told her that the reason I haven't been in is because I have no sitter, and I couldn't afford to pay anybody and work too. And I needed to know if there was any services to help me. And that's when we decided to start searching and researched, and that's what we came up with. Ball State's Child Care and Resource Referral Services. Yes, and then they were able to assist me, with information as to who I could contact in order to help me with my situation.
That was the ice. That was the ice machine. That was. Oh,
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, you were facing a real dire situation.
Yes.
You had a good job, and all of a sudden, without a place to put your 3-year-old,
Yes.
you were going to have to leave that job.
Yes.
Wow. And so with the Ball State service, it went to work for you.
Yes.
What's that mean to you?
I'm thankful. I'm glad that we had something like that to offer employees here, because I would just been out there in the cold without a job. And I'm glad that I spoke up and spoke to Deb about my situation, and she was able to help me, and Martha also. And I'm very appreciative. And
Well, that's good.
yes.
That's good. Yeah.